Get up here. Where did Zoom go? Okay. And we are up.
We are up. Welcome, everybody. Yes, live?
Yes, but Zoom is not showing us, so yay.
Okay. Let everyone know what's going on. I don't know if they can hear me, see me.
They can hear
Look
you.
for they can hear me.
Yes.
Wow. Is anybody out there?
I'll get us up. Hold on, I'm sorry. I didn't realize Zoom would do that. But
well, guys, give us a second for technical difficulties. Annie is on it. It's a lot better than having me on doing these things.
There you go. They can see you.
They can see me. Hey, I hope I look okay today. So, welcome everybody. Welcome again to the show. I just blessed in so many ways. I want to bring a verse for the day, and it says it's from Ephesians 4:26. In your anger, do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you are still angry. That is pretty strong verse for me today. I have a lot of reasons to be angry this morning, but I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to bring some other good stuff to the table today. I hope all's going well. I do need to hook up on the chat. Annie, I need to try to go on here and just open up. I'll open up YouTube and turn my sound down.
Okay.
And hopefully I can get a thing and I can sit here and see what you guys are having to say and say good morning to everybody. Andy has the pH. You guys see the chart that we're going to do? All right, I got it. Leah, Marty, Betty, good morning. Good morning. Nature Ninja. I like that. Nature Ninja. You know, you come and sneak through here. Yeah, I bet you'd have fun with that those shells behind me.
For sure. Such a cool name.
It is a cool name. And so, happy Saturday, people. I just want to welcome you again. I love doing this show just to kind of try to get the word out there. And I think that the word is going to get a little bit easier to get out there. All this chaos and things that are going on, there's a little bit of a political aspect. And Annie, did you want to share a little bit what President Trump just did for First Amendment rights?
Oh, that was wonderful. I still didn't find what exactly he named the bill or whatever he signed in, but he signed an executive order that they cannot censor information on social media sites anymore. So we got our freedom back. I'm very excited about it. That little fact checker on Facebook, man, would that infuriate me. But all that's gone. I'm very happy.
So we are going to have, and we have an executive order to lift the ban on social media. I don't know what you guys think about that, but that is massive. Betty, that is huge. That means that things are now have the ability to be shared and get out there, because what we've been sharing, I've had people just telling me the link will not open. And so I'm so glad that Trump is stepping up. And I think that we guys got to pray for that man, and just he's going to be attacked for all that he's trying to do. So I want to, if you guys looked at the thumbnail this morning, I think that Annie did an incredible job. And I don't even have a way of looking at that myself while I'm talking about it, Annie.
You do in your email?
In my email, okay.
I can text it to you as well. Let me text it.
Yeah, text it to me. That'd be great. Yep. And so, but today I do want to talk a little bit, people, about pH, because, if we're going to keep doing this and just teaching this information, I think it's great that you guys have a understanding of why each one of these variables and what they're so important for, and why you can't focus in on one variable, but how they all interact with one another. And when you're looking at them, we go back to that perfect equation. I'm going to tell you there, those of you who are tuning in for the first time, I base a lot of what I do off of the works of Dr. Kerry Reams, and he created and discovered through prayer and mathematical science a perfect equation for how energy moves through the human body. And I'm trying to teach these variables of how to explain this equation, because there's no system of medicine that explains health from a standpoint of what's considered perfect. when you're talking quantum energy, the aspect of what we are. Energy is the same thing as matter. Heat and electricity were held together. We're a bunch of different minerals, about 89 of them. 60% calcium, 24% phosphorus, 12% potassium, a bunch of trace minerals. And we go back to ashes. That's what we do, is we go back to the soil, and we are a soil, and we are trying to turn around and improve upon our soil. And as you do, what Reem showed is that there's a way that the energy of the frequency of what we are can maximize the potential of what it can produce. And as it's producing healthy energy, it's making consistently healthy cells and getting rid of the old one. We are building new body. And it goes right down to the DNA, because they started studying DNA right after that. And Reams and Albright were looking at DNA in relation to plants, and it's just biological life. And so last week we talked about sugars and that importance of that bricks, and how sugars are the potential energy, the available energy is a better way of saying it, because you can't say potential. It's how much is there, from a science standpoint. But if the sugars are dysregulated, the amount of available energy is dysregulated. It's that simple. And so we are teaching the aspects of getting in what we call a healing or a restorative range. And we're going to go over that. Last week we talked how the sugars is between 1.5 to 2.0. And at that range, you're particularly at 1.5, you're having maximum amount of available oxygen. The oxygen's not being bound up. There's enough oxygen available. And so your cells need oxygen. Cancer cells don't. So the more hypoxia you have, the more you're prone to promote cancer cells. Reams termed some things carcinoid cells, and they are, were extrapolated to be the same thing as cancer. And he was just saying, no, what these are is less than 100% efficient cells. And your body they disconnect from the electrical control of your central nervous system, and then they do their own thing, And so what we're trying to do is get your body in control electrochemically, and we're just going through those. So sugar regulation and bricks control is basically, what do I drink and what do I eat in the capacity? Am I eating a food that's either spiking me up way too high because it's a food intolerance, my body can't tolerate it, it causes cell destruction, poor digestion, affects other numbers. We're going to talk about the pHs today. But or if you're eating a carbohydrate source of food, and a lot of them are on the no-no list, popcorn and white rice and potatoes and chocolate, and these type of foods that will actually have a high glycemic index, and therefore many times the various sugars that are found within them cause you to oversecrete insulin, which crashes your sugars. And when you crash, oh my God, lightheaded, dizzy, all these symptoms come on. What am I going to do? I need to eat right now. Give me some food, give me another piece of chocolate. Where's my coffee? And so many of us live in this spike and crash zone all day long. And so today I'm going to go on to the next phase, is the pHs, because although that the bricks is the potential or the available energy, the pHs dictate the efficiency of that energy, and that is so huge. There was a book called The pH Miracle, and all the guy did was teach that pH was the control. It was the pH was the control of everything. I handed Annie a quote this morning from Royal Rife. If you look behind me, I have a Rife machine back here, and one of the things that I allow to be used in my practice for free. But hey, Annie, you there? You able to read out that quote there, or pop that up for a second?
Yep, it's up on the screen.
Oh my God. How do you guys like it? Don't you love this? She just kind of makes things happen. But I can't see the screens. Can you read it out, Annie?
It says, if the human body is balanced in pH and nutrients, it is not susceptible to disease.
If the pH is if the human body is balanced in pH and nutrients, then it is not susceptible to disease. Wow. Straight out of the time when science was science, people. And Royal Rife was curing cancers, tuberculosis, you name it, using machines like this, which were running electrical frequencies that either, what I love about that Rife machine, although most people are coming to say, hey, I've got Lyme or I have some type of disorder, cancer, and they want to run those frequencies that are to inhibit the microbial imbalances that occur at pH that we're going to talk about. And then what he would do is run a frequency that would vibrate and resonate with their cell membrane, and he'd identify them under a microscope, and then they'd explode. So he was trying to correct the microbiome. And there again, we're challenging science, because they say that microbiome is just in your digestive tract, and Rife and Enderlein and all these classic other practitioners were saying, no, it's all in us. 10 to 1, those microbes outnumber you. And so the imbalance of those microbes are associated with certain disorders. And Rife was turning around and running electrical frequencies to cause them to go poof. But the one thing Rife was stating in that, in his quote there, is that pH control and appropriate nutrients. Well, who taught pH control and appropriate nutrients first ever? Does anyone want to jump in there, Betty? It's Betty's dad. It's Dr. Kerry Reams, and he showed that at a pH of 6.4, that's where biological optimization, and the pH specifically is the number that dictates your frequency. That's very important. So when we're using this, when we do RBTI and we're measuring these numbers, we're looking at a system of measurement. We're looking at efficiency. And I'm going through each one of these, but out of all of them, people, the pH is by far the most important. Well, I can't say that. Well, it's close to it. Sugar regulation, pH, urine. You work on those, everything else will start to fix. If you understand where the other numbers are out of place and what they need, that transition of health is going to be a lot easier, because if you're just working with pH and the bricks, you're probably going to have some DSOC symptoms that you're not going to appropriately support without knowing the other numbers. But if you work with pH and the bricks, you will see direct energy efficiency improvement and just feeling better. So the bricks represents, again, that potential or available energy. pH represents the speed and the magnetism of the measurement. It's telling you the resistance, how molecules, it's not even molecules, it's smaller molecules, it's ions, it's positive and negative charges that make up everything, and they're electromagnetic, and the positive charges are spinning clockwise and the negative charges are spinning counterclockwise. So you have these things. I can't do one hand backward and one hand forward. Impossible. it's like patting your head, right? And so, but these molecules are rubbing up against each other, and what happens is resistance. They are going against each other, and they're resisting against one another, and pH is measuring that resistance. So the more the resistance, the slower things are going to go. Does that make sense? So the higher the number, the slower the things are going to go. The lower the number, the faster the things are going to go. And so, Annie, if you put up our little pH picture again, that would be beneficial. And so when we're looking at, you guys I hope you love these things as much as I do, what Annie's putting together here and what's on the screen right now. But, the perfect equation, and we go urine pH and saliva pH. We're taking each variable and breaking them down for you. And so, and you read there, it says urine pH represents post-digestive efficiency, and saliva pH, the pre-digestive efficiency of how energy can move through the system, as well as helping you to locate on the body a y-axis site of energy loss, meaning the up and down. So the higher the pH, the higher the symptoms are going to be in your body. The lower the pH, the lower the symptoms are going to be, and where your body's drawing the most energy. And so people who are acidic have low back pain and knee pain and things like that happening to them. And people who are highly alkaline have sinus issues and thyroid disorders and lung conditions and those type of things. So as mentioned, Dr. Reams showed that pH is a measurement of friction, and at a value of 6.4 is the neutral electrical point where ions, the things that make up atoms, the things that make up matter, or molecules and things that make up matter, but these ions can change and spin direction to be either cationic or anionic based upon the external influences, meaning that the environment, you are affecting the environment of everything in your body when you are affecting pH. It is that simple. And the key of what controls pH is not baking soda. It's calcium. It's the forms of calcium that you get. Ream showed that there's over 150,000 types of calcium on this planet. He broke it down into 7 groups, and 6 of those groups you need daily. And those six different calciums have different effects on pH. 4 of them will raise the pH, and 2 of them will lower the pH. And so that's where we're going to talk about foods. When we get into this, we're going to look at foods and what the calciums are in the food that have the most effect. But as you go through here, and when we're looking at foods, we look at what range you fall into. And as you go down on that chart, you can see pH range of 6.3 to 6.6 is what Reams termed the restorative or the healing range. And that's what he put in range A, where you have the most efficiency, 6.4 being perfect. So you have optimal available energy and mineral utilization when you are running at 6.4 over 6.4. It's that simple. And so that is the speed of how your reactions are occurring in your body. And you look on there, if you look at that picture, it says when you go to range D and E, you're becoming acidic. pH is a 4.8 to 6.2, and your digestion is going too fast. When you are range 6.7 to 8, your digestion is going too slow. And then that's where we start talking about colonics and different types of ways to help speed that up. And Reams talked about eating cayenne or horseradish and things that would speed up that digestion. And so when you fall in that middle, you're looking at restorative ranges is where we are. pH affects the mineral energy. And you can see predictable symptoms based upon whether that pH is alkaline or whether that pH is acidic. And I don't know, Annie, if you're showing the picture anymore, but you can let people watch me and they can see my antics if they like. But, and I should pull up and see if you guys have questions, because what I'm presenting is basically, college level science, if you really think about it. But I don't know where you guys are falling with this. I want to make this as simple as I can. And we're going to break it down to say, people, it's diet, it's food, it's what you eat and what you drink. And I don't want to teach it as supplements, but yet at some point we do have to talk about supplements, because you're a bag of rocks, and you have to make sure that your internal rock system is in balance on which ones are there and how that soil is fed in order for your body to have the pH and to have the right nutrients for the microbes that are in you to live in harmony and not to disrupt things, and how we get those things back in balance. The main factor for that system of microbial imbalance is pH. If you're dealing with Lyme, if you're dealing with any type of chronic microbial, viral, fungal, whatever issue, you have a pH issue. It's that simple. And it's not about killing the Lyme and fungus and mold and candida and bacterial overgrowth, Marcans, or whatever it is. It's not about just killing the bug. You have to change the environment. And the way you change the environment and change the internal terrain is pH regulation. And you don't change pH regulation by how much baking soda or how much BioSil or how much Cell Direct or how much any of these products out there to keep your pH up are being sold. That's not how you do it. You do it with what you're eating and what minerals that you're taking. If you want to see restoration, it's that simple. And you don't hear this. Betty, I don't know what else to say if you're out there listening and whether you are in agreement with me, but let me see what people are saying, because I'm starting to go on a soapbox here. Good morning, Red Label. I agree. And thanks, Doc, for the anniversary sale. Yes, Marty D. I am going to sidetrack on that. We are at our second year anniversary for Vitalometry. I got the sign up on the wall. I hope you guys like that. And if you guys have not purchased Vitalometry, we have a 30% off on no matter how many bottles you order. And it is second year, 2NDYEAR. 2ND year. Second year is the discount code, and you get 30% off unlimited through Monday. Monday would be our anniversary day, and we normally do it. Last year we did it one day, and it was exploded. So we're trying to spread it out over a few days so we can handle the order load. And so vitalometry.com, docmisak.com, you can check out Vitalometry second year as your discount code, and you get 30% off. Thank you very much, Marty. Give me the opportunity to plug that. And we will now resume to our normal programming. Red Label at Betty, Jackie Morgan. Hello, Jackie. The Rife machine is on my bucket list. It's a good thing to have. And if you are controlling pH, I was telling you guys about Rife, and my favorite thing. You see how easy it is to sidetrack me? Just put something in here. You got me, guys. And so I was telling you how Rife was looking at it and blowing up microbes and correcting the microbiome while working with appropriate diet during the time. But my favorite frequencies are called MOR frequencies, MOR, mortal oscillatory rates. So what does that mean? Rife found frequencies that were specific, that resonated with the human frequency. The only person who measured the human frequency and determined what it was Dr. Kerry Reams. He determined what the actual frequency was of humans. But Rife was using measurements to pick up frequencies. And once he had the basic frequency, he also used solfeggio frequencies. You can look that up. But those frequencies were, he called them mortal oscillatory rates. He took resonant octaves, that would resonate with the rate of what our body was running. And he figured them out mathematically. And when you run those, people, it's better than a glass of wine. Oh my God, do you kick back and just like, they're so relaxing. And so, sidetrack. Anyway, Betty, back in 1930, I'm assuming Betty was talking in regards to her dad, and when he started when he found the device or the equation, and all of this stuff came together. Let me see. Love Annie's posters. Yeah, me too, people. Thank you for this explanation. It's very helpful. Make frozen treats out of mango. Oh my God. How about just, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's put up a recipe on how you do it. You just freezing them direct. Does horseradish have to be fresh? No, it doesn't. It's still going to be quite spiced up. Just be like Mater in the second Cars movie and have some of that pistachio ice cream. Can you tell I'm still a kid at heart? Betty, I'll take 2. I missed that what I said. Betty's going to take the mango ice cream. Hey, Betty, I forgot. I got to talk to you. My cousin was diagnosed with Lyme last summer. It attacked his heart. Now he has a pacemaker. He's still sick, and medical docs have no solution. Yeah, you've got to get him to a Lyme literate doctor, and you cannot do not go put him on a Rife machine. You'll kill him. You have got to get to somebody who understands what's going on. And you have to get I'm telling you, you got to get pH under control. Once his chemistry starts falling in line, then you can start killing the Lyme and recreating. Right now, I tell you to get Stephen Buhner's book, Buhner, and it's Healing Lyme. And he has the best protocol. You're going to use cat's claw, andrographis, polygonum. You need to be on an appropriate Lyme protocol. Start getting his body back to normalcy, getting it under control before you start killing a Lyme and ever putting him on a Rife machine, by the way. Yes, laugh out loud. Vitalometry -2. You want 2 of them. Okay. Hey, Betty, I know what I got to tell you is your oat test is here. And so we got to talk about that. So people, it sounds like you understand pH. So I'm going to keep moving forward with this a little bit. So as I said, pH kind of represents a post-digestive efficiency, at least the urine pH, and the saliva pH give us that pre-digestion. How strong is my bile? How well is my liver working in order to be able to digest the food that I'm about to consume? So it's telling you how energy can move through the system, the strength of your bile, the strength of your ability. And unfortunately, a lot of people, including Badeau and I've mentioned this before, a lot of RBTI practitioners strongly suggest digestive enzymes. And because your liver, Ream showed, will make up to 5 billion enzymes and it can get the amino acids it needs to do that from lemon, while also helping to correct the pH and speed and that it needs to be at with lemon. But many people say that, hey, during this corrective phase, enzymes help because it just tells your body not to make them, and we're going to provide them. And I'm going to tell you, enzymes, both systemic and digestive enzymes, can just tremendously help people. But ultimate goal, let's get your body to do it. Let's give it the right nutrients. Let's give it the right minerals. Let's give it the lemon that it needs in order to correct. Where's my water? And give me a second, people. So, I'm not here to knock anybody else's RBTI perspectives. There's some really good ones out there. There have been other clinicians, and I want to utilize that for all of you. But in reality, what's the goal here? Let's get your body doing what it was meant to do by just food and giving it what it needs. And that's where we use lemon by far to have the most impact on helping to normalize these pHs in combination with the right minerals. And I talked about that y-axis aspect. So, as you see these pHs, you start determining. Reams and Badeau actually has a chart in his book that has pHs in association with various organ systems. Things that I've seen, if you have a pH of 6.1, many times it points to the bladder. A pH of 6.4 is right to the liver. pH of 6.6 is usually somewhere in there. You're pointing to the gallbladder. 6.7 to about 6.9, you're usually looking at the lungs or the breast in women. pH of about 6.8 to 7.1, you're looking at thyroid conditions. pH of about 7.14 to 7.16, pretty darn specific, you'll see teeth issues. pH of 7.2 to 7.4, you're going to see sinus issues. pH of 8 and above, you got a brain issue. pH of less than 5, you've got knee and feet pain, and you've got issues down below part of your body. pH of about 5.3 to 5.6, you're looking at women or, organs, prostate, stuff like that. And the other ones will vary, but it just gives you an idea. The low pHs, you're going to see issues on those organ systems. The high pHs, you're going to see issues up here. Many times I'll have people come in with a pH of 6.9. Their nitrates are showing that they've got plenty of adequate potassium. Their magnesium utilization is going well, but their nitrates will point to one side or the other of the body. And then I'll ask them, do you have a right shoulder that bothers you? And they're like, how the heck do you know that? That's not even I didn't even mention it, but yeah, I've been having problems. I'm going to a physical therapist. I'm like, because it's showing where the body is drawing energy from. So we talked about it being a measure of resistance, and the faster things go, when you have that acid, low pH, things are moving too fast, and you'll see specific symptoms. You'll see diarrhea. Why? Because things are moving too fast in the digestive tract. You'll see non-digested food in your stools. Wow, there's that lettuce and all those nuts I had. You'll see hip and lower extremity pain. You'll see premenstrual cramping, heavy menstrual flow. You'll see prostate conditions, malabsorption deficiencies. You will see mineral deficiencies because the things are going too fast and your body can't pull the stuff out. When it goes too alkaline and gets too slow, you're going to see what? Constipation instead. Again, we talked about sinus conditions, respiratory complaints, skin eruptions. You'll see vitamin C and vitamin A availability be diminished. And so you'll start seeing acne or any type of skin reaction associated with whatever it may be. You have those people who have mast cell activation. Typically, they are slightly alkaline. You're going to see vision complaints with the vitamin A changes. You're going to see the upper extremity pain, thyroid issues, cluster headaches, teeth and jaw issues. There's all these different things. So we measure it simply. You can use pH strips. You get a pH meter is by far the best way to test yourself. It's a lot more accurate. We turn around and have people use pH strips. And I've had pH strips just be crappy because they were old and give bad values. So, in a pinch and you're just trying to follow yourself and see where you are, pH strips and a basic refractometer, $72, people. Start controlling energy. It's amazing, what it can do for you. But if you affect one variable, you're affecting all of them. So if I'm telling you the pH affects the speed and your body's ability to extract minerals because things are going too fast or too slow, and certain minerals aren't getting taken out, and certain minerals are associated with poor liver detoxification or capillary fragility and getting varicose veins with copper deficiencies or immune dysfunction and zinc deficiencies or in iron deficiencies and the health of your blood and carrying oxygen supply. When your pHs are off, you need specific minerals. And we can turn around and say, in these low and high pHs, there's certain trace minerals that are needed. And in some cases, that's why I've given people those humic and those fulvic minerals. Nowhere will you find that in RBTI. You don't find those trace minerals ever given and recommended by Reams. At least I never read anything about it. But I have seen, like in acid conditions, those trace minerals, either TJ Clark's or the Morningstar minerals, the humic and fulvic minerals, just help people to get out of the funk because you're making the minerals available and they don't spike up the conductivity like some of those other trace mineral blends. They're ionic based minerals. And that's what Ream says, that we're supposed to get our minerals in an ionic form from food. But it's not in our foods. And even when we're taking these supplements, even by daily, they're not in ionic forms, except Mincol, mineral, it's colloidal minerals, is supposed to break down in the body as colloidal because of the other trace minerals that are in that soft rock phosphate. It's not just calcium that's in Mincol. And that's why we use Mincol with every meal. It's strengthen the bile to give you an available calcium source, to have those trace minerals there. But I'm just telling you, from practical and experience in my practice, there are times when I'm giving these other minerals to kind of help. So pH, direct the various anionic and calcium forms that you choose. It's the hallmark aspect of RBTI is that you need specific calcium forms. Calcium phosphate, found in Mincol, calcium lactate, those are your acid-forming calciums. Lower the pH. Then you have your calcium citrate, your calcium carbonate, your calcium oxides, your tricalcium phosphate, microcrystalline hydroxyapatite, which is a bone-based calcium. All of these other forms of calcium, those are raising the pH. Calcium gluconate, calcium orotate, those are more neutral, And so there's only one source of calcium orotate that you can find in your diet. And Betty has a great story about black olives and how, her dad made her eat so many black olives a day. And it's because of that calcium orotate source, just to get it in the diet. So the difference of RBTI and when we're looking at pH is the foods that you eat to have calcium forms that will move your pH where it needs to be. Because optimal electrical flow and magnetism occur at a pH of 6.4. Bottom line, efficiency heightened at 6.4. When the pH of the saliva is too high or too low, the digestive bile is too weak. Period. It's too weak or it's too irritated and not able to. It's breaking things down. It's too acid. you know. And so pH, when the pHs are off, what I find is that it helps me identify what minerals can be deficient. So when we're looking at pH and control, we're looking at foods. And one of the things, that I still have to send Earth Garden Living is this new handout that I put together, that talks about ranges, that turns around and breaks those prominent calciums down to the BC diet or to the DE diet. And so when you're in the A range, you can pick from any of these as long as you are watching your pHs and making sure you're not swinging it too far, because you keep eating bad foods for yourself, you can throw yourself out of the A range. And then, if you go and you look at this, I also kind of help teach variety by giving people an aspect of saying, hey, you need to eat unlimited low glycemic vegetables in your range. You can have, if you're trying to look at how many calories per day, this many servings of fruit, this many servings of protein, this many servings of dairy or grains or beans, legumes, nuts, seeds, oils, fats. We're trying to create variety in the diet, because when you say, lunch for a king, it doesn't just mean a plate of wings, and so we're trying to help people to see what that variety is in a way to make sense. So pH, some of the things that we have to be considerate of is that when you go too low and too fast, what do? We eat either the foods that are in that range first, or because things are going too fast, we use more vitamin D. Because when you see a pH of less than 6.1 in the urine, you have a vitamin D deficiency. So we use vitamin D and vitamin C to kind of slow it down with the vitamin D, which is raise the pH, and speed it up with the vitamin C, which will bring down the pH and speed it up. And so also, when you're looking at ranges, and although you can go across and choosing your range in regards to, hey, my sugars are in the DE range, or my nitrates are in the DE range, but your pHs are in the A range, how do you eat? You don't eat in the DE range because food has the most impact on pH. So in reality, pH is going to tell you what to eat. It's going to tell you what range you're mostly focusing in on. If you're in the DE range because of sugars, well, I've already talked to you the importance of sugar regulation by learning what you drink. But if you're eating based upon pH and the minerals that are contained within there, I'm still going to tell you to eat based upon pHs and work on that sugar regulation, is how I'm going to tell you, because all the other numbers are going to start falling into place with that. So the other things that we consider with pH, if you have a low saliva pH of less than 6.3, you got a B12 deficiency. I see it across the board. And so we'll see, and we'll also see it's a good time to use some digestive enzymes. When you have a high pH of greater than 6.8, many times we're giving you betaine hydrochloride to aid in digestion because the bile that's getting too weak. I hate doing it, but you do. Or we'll talk about liver gallbladder flushing. We need to flush that congested liver out and flush this junk because it's not working. So I want it when we go to the retreats, we teach this all in a practical aspect. How I can teach it staring at a computer, I'm doing the best that I can, So when you see high pH and like diarrhea, for example, because things are supposed to be going slower with more resistance and high pH. But hey, I'm running a pH of 7.2. But man, I'm going to the bathroom 5 times a day. You know what that's probably due to? Parasites. Almost always. If you have a pH above 7, start thinking parasites and looking for them. I see them very much across the bad. You'll have, or if you have like both acid over acid and, this really foul stool. Yeah, it's sticky and whatever else. You usually got worms. Good thing to think about, right? So pH is telling you that internal environment and your microflora that's going to happen in there and thrive. And so whenever, I always talk about when I see the nitrates, particularly that ammonia nitrate, get above 7, you need probiotics. But if that pH is swinging, you probably need them as well. So, to kind of, the one thing is we talked about regulating numbers. We talked about, last week and how you're doing it is to go by those numbers and to eating or to at least drinking on a regular pattern. Lemon. We talked about lemon water. At a minimum, drinking 1 ounce of fresh squeezed lemon a day with 9 ounces of distilled water, and drinking a third of that after every meal, particularly when you're taking your mineral supplements, because lemon is an anionic disperser, and it helps you not only all those benefits for the liver and digestive enzymes and to tell your liver to make them and correcting pH, but it helps to disperse so you generate more heat energy and get more energy out of your food. So these are kind of some of the things. I think I've kind of said what I want to say about pH. I don't know if I missed something. Betty, if there's something specific that you'd say, hey, what about this in pH? Remind me. But let's see what you guys have to say. Annie, you want to talk about something, or you're like, I'm catching you just sitting there, look like you're doing homework or something.
Paying bills, do whatever you got to do. No, I'm doing something else on my laptop while you're talking. But no, I think you covered it based on everything that we've tried to put together in that little graphic. I think you did a good job.
Thank you. You always build me up. Jackie, is pH the only variable that indicates where body is energy loss? No, it's not. You can see, if you have high cell debris, you're going to be losing some energy in the kidneys because they're not working. But the nitrates, when we get to those, the nitrates tell which side of the body, the left or right side of the body. So when you're looking at pH up or down, the nitrates say left or right. See if you can do that, people. Left, right, or up or down. I can't even do it. There we go. So, but no, the nitrates say right or left. pH says up or down. Kind of helps you hone in where things are. So those of you who are watching your own numbers, just kind of, even in meditation and finding yourself and where do I ache or what's going on, where's my issue primarily, start looking at your numbers, and then you'll start seeing associations with those numbers and where these things are happening, either higher or lower than the ideal. So imagine the ideal is right at the level of the belly button. And then if it's lower, look, am I having symptoms down there? Irritable bowel or premenstrual syndrome or lower back pain or whatever it may be. If it's higher, am I having upper digestion issues? Am I having heart palpitations? Am I having shortness of breath or thyroid disorders or snot in my nose all the time? And you'll start saying, wow, there's something going on here. I can't sit here and have you guys you don't want to know everything that's in my head, in all honesty. But what I would say is, if I can give you a generality of how to understand these numbers, and you do some basic testing and start seeing what your diet, what better way to love yourself and take care of yourself than to understand that what you're eating and how it's impacting you. If you don't have health, what do you have? Think about that. So let's see. I have previously purchased a retreat booklet. Can I also receive or purchase the updated handout? Can stones get stuck when doing a gallbladder flush? I don't know about the handout yet. If people who are buying the things, I give this to my clients. I'm just making sure that we kind of retain the rights and not sending it out, trying not to send it out in any type of form, other than a PDF form, because we can't get this thing changed, or people just start sharing it as their own. As far as, can stones get stuck? Yeah, if that's why we prep. When you do a gallbladder flush, we have you drink that malic acid in the cherry juice or the apple juice. We have you add the phosphoric acid from the phos food. We have you drink Epsom salts, lots of it, before you do the flush, and those magnesium relaxes all the smooth muscle. With the protocol that I've been doing and the number of people that I've had flush in the last 10 years, never once saw anybody get a stone stuck. And I have had people pass stones as big as a quarter. And so, and they felt it. They like, hey, it hurt coming out. And so in my opinion, that was an aspect of either, not doing the appropriate prep with breaking down the stones, maybe needing a little bit of phosphatidylcholine. If we know somebody has a gallbladder full of stones, and we're going to suggest you don't do a flush until their chemistry kind of shows the need for it or the ability to handle it. And I'll teach that in level 3, people. But when you see that people can handle a flush and you know that they have stones in there, that's where we want to do, something that we're pretty sure is going to help break those stones down prior to. And we're going to be quite aggressive. Might even give some phosphatidylcholine to thin out those bile secretions and to help break it down while you're doing those acid type of things. So just kind of give that perspective of what's going on. Let me see. Any other questions out there today? Let's see. Do I still have a digital refractometer? Yes, I do. I have one of them in stock. And they actually, I found another source of them, one that seems to be consistent with it. Also giving I think it's a 1-year warranty on it, like anything else. And I think we were able to reduce the price to $180. Excellent teaching today. Well, thank you, Jackie. People, I want to be able to teach this on a platform, and the best way is to have a retreat and a retreat-based center where you are hands-on, where we can have hybrids gardening, where we can have a stand where people can come and buy their nursery plants, be educated about remineralization, where we can have somebody who learns to test soil for the local people, somebody who gets involved on that level with the food growing aspect. And then we can have people come stay from all over the place and do retreats, not only, like the monthly retreats where we're doing educational, but having somebody live there that can, guide people through consistent healing. Hey, come stay with us. We're going to feed you, and have something on that level that would be consistent. I mean, that's the way it really ought to be done, is to have a team of people involved in a restorative process, because healing is not always fun, people. If you look at that graph that we put up last week, and watch Andy just magically make it appear again. But, what happens is, when you exceed your threshold, you're consuming more energy than you're getting from your food. And so as you start a program of cleaning up your environment and start, RBTI as a system of measurement to guide that program as to whether you're moving in the right direction, your body starts to detox. And detox is crappiness. I call it short-term crappiness for long-term happiness. But at the same time, you increase your threshold with remineralization. You start getting to a point where your symptoms drop down. But if you notice that symptom line continues, even though you are below your threshold, even if you move up. Why? Because symptoms are your guide. That's your self-awareness. That's the aspect of telling you that, hey, even though I'm below my threshold, I can detox, and I am detoxing. Do you think that a detox is a 1-week program that you buy in a box from somebody? Because they want you to believe that. No, people, you are in a toxic environment. You are breathing crap. You are bathing in crap. You are washing your food with crap. Even the trace amount of acceptable levels of what's in our water supply, of what's the trace amounts of pesticides that are in our food. Every one of you will test positive for glyphosate in your body. Think about that. It's hormone dysregulating. It's there. You're not getting away from it. It's in all of us. So you will have symptoms. Even if you get off the grid and you have an infrared sauna and you have your own food supply, and how old are you? Because that X factor, like I got my friend Larry that I've talked about, stage 4 esophageal cancer. He came in this week, and he is now, his scans show that he only has scar tissue where his tumors were. His RBTI numbers are getting better, and he's 2 years in. Well, Larry's my age. He's just over 50. And so what's the X factor say? hey, it's going to take you somewhere between, you're looking probably between 30, around 36, at least 3 years for clearing and healing. Larry is well on his way. And I hope that we can just continue this story and show you that he's on his way. And it's amazing, people. But even if you go to this perfect environment and you're growing the perfect food and you have air purifiers and you are using solar power and you are filtering your water and making distilled water for yourself to drink, the amount of stuff that you've accumulated in the last how many years and what's stored in your fat cells, do you know how long it's going to take to break that down? Even if you get yourself in the healing range, it's going to take you months. And there's a continuous exposure. You can't get away from toxins in today's environment unless you're in this world that's not real to any of us with what we've created. So you have to learn to measure and follow yourself. It's just that simple. So what we're trying to do is give you guidelines. Last week, sugar regulation, what to drink. This week, pH. And that's next week, conductivity. We're going to talk about salts. And so we're just going to go through these variables. We're going to keep teaching this stuff. When you talk about the specifics and looking at numbers, and those of you who want that, I don't, and you can sit there and say, Doc, teach the numbers. And I'm sure there are people who want to see that type of stuff. But you got to get back to basics. And if this social media ban is lifted and this stuff is starting to be able to get shared, people, what do people need to understand? They don't need me to pop numbers up there and explain it and be like, oh my God, this is incredible stuff. They need to understand the basics. And so Annie's visuals, we're going to have those as thumbprints just to guide people through these variables. We're going to kind of sum it up. And when we get past the basics, what do we talk about? I don't know yet. Half the time, if you ask Annie, I don't know 5 minutes before the show.
I attempt to get him together. The visuals are helping. There's so much, though. You can mention one thing like bricks, pH, and you'll just go swirling off onto a nice little tangent. And it's a good one, though. It's not a tangent. It's good information.
I hope I brought all the tangents back today.
Yes.
So let's answer questions before we tune out for the day. Are there foods that flush the liver? Flush is a strong word. There are ways to flush the liver, but foods that are good for artichokes are wonderful for the liver. Radishes are great for the liver. Turnips, root vegetables are good for the liver, and that's where burdock root is wonderful. Burdock root tea, dandelion root is good for the liver, and so you could turn around, and most people are not going to eat those things, but they have herbal tinctures or make teas out of them, things like that. But artichokes are a wonderful liver food, and it's something to eat regularly. What else we have out here? Betty, folks, you do not want to miss a retreat class. No, they don't. There's nothing like it. You will learn more in a few days than some people learn in a lifetime. Just listening to Betty, you will learn more. Don't pay attention to me. She's the good one. She teaches the food. That's what's important. Profit Bear at Doc, I want to contribute to your dream in any way, brother. We need to talk then. You need to email me, and you can tell me if you're financially oriented. I need somebody who's on that level. I need some office assistance right now. If you live in Pittsburgh and need a job, give me a call. Profit Bear, ISOW. What's that mean? ISO will?
I so want, I think.
Okay. Great show as always. Thank you, Marty. I have some time off work and want to make a visit to your office. Are you able to see anyone from out of the state in the next 2 weeks? I am. Our ban is being lifted next Friday, and so the following Monday, and then my schedule goes boom and explodes. I have some other issues with that, but it's all is good, people. You got to let me know, and we'll have to talk about that. You should email my office, and then I can email or talk to you from them. office@pittsburghalternativehealth.com. Jackie, I put my dog on vitalometry. His urine slipping issue is getting better. I know my dog stopped peeing all over the place and let me know she needed to go out again. But I'm not. I can't. I got to get that vitalometry for pets done, don't I?
Yes, you do, because my dog needs it as well.
Call me with those results. I'm home all day. Can't say that I can call you right now, Betty, but I definitely will. I can email those to you, and then we'll discuss them and go over those for certain. So, people, I think we've done a show, and I thank you for tuning in. I hope that you can share these. If there is not at least 31 thumbs up for the 31 people chatting, I will be disappointed. That's at least that I can ask of you guys to do. If you're able to share this, please do. Just let people know that we're out there. Again, docmisak.com teaches them. You're going to see links. Next week, people, I'm getting published in Naturopathic Doctor News and Review, NDNR.
Ooh.
If you go to docmisak.com
it's and
you go to
really good one.
Yeah, if you go to media on docmisak.com, you'll see where I have been published in the past and teaching bioelectric chemistry. Sounds complicated, but it's basically what you're hearing here. Read those articles and watch out. As soon as we get published, I will post it on Doc Misak. But it is probably one of the most, I hope that it's an article that's just going to profoundly move the profession to say, holy crap, what is this guy doing to be able to understand this from a urine and saliva test? Never heard anything like that. That's, it's a really good story that I'm putting out there. And you guys need to read it if you want to see how these things are moving. Betty, you're going to be excited about it. And I would give it to my dogs too. Thank you, Lauren. It's a good product. Cool beans. Congrats. Thank you for the great information. You're welcome. You're welcome. People, just God bless you. Stay well. I'm among chaos, and just thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sharing. And I guess I'll see you next week.